Competition is inevitable with a freelance career like illustration. For every project you're considered for, the art director will be considering a handful of others, whether you know about it or not. My boss at Folio, Nick, worked as an agent many years before the internet, and he has plenty of stories about running around London with armfuls of artworks to be delivered to advertising agencies. It's pretty much unrecognisable from the job I do today, sat in front of a computer most of the time. The competition was a lot less back then, but if you were an illustrator, you pretty much needed to be in a big city so you could go and pitch your work to art directors in person. You had to be convenient, because if you lived out in the arse end of nowhere, you simply couldn't make those connections to keep you busy. Now, everyone is convenient. Any client can contact the best illustrators in the world and work with them. There are far more professional illustrators now than there were in the 70s and 80s, and plenty more people that want to get noticed and get into the industry. There's far more supply than demand. There aren't enough freelance illustration gigs to go around and keep everybody busy, so competition is high. Not to mention, you're also competing with photographers, stock images, $8 an hour illustrators on Upwork, and before long, AI is going to be a competitor too. This is one of the reasons people like me talk about the importance of having a unique illustration style. If your style is unique and new and different, then you're still competing for jobs, of course, but you're playing a different game. You still have to convince an art director that your style is the right style for the project, but if you can do that, then you're the only choice. If you're working in a style that 100 or 1,000 other illustrators can do, then the competition is going to be crushing unless you can figure out a way to stand out from the crowd. When anyone can do what you can do, your skills are no longer valuable. You'll be pressured into working for less money just to get any work, but there's always someone who can do it cheaper and quicker than you can, so that's not a good position to be in. This isn't unique to illustration either. What are your chances of writing a best-selling fantasy book now with dragons and wizards? And who in their right mind is developing a new productivity app or launching a new TV streaming service at this point? The market is saturated with great options already, plus plenty of crappy options. So the chances of success are tiny. So while you're still in the early stages of your career and developing your style, it's important to consider where you are positioning yourself in the market. Are you going to be one of 1,000? Or the only one that can do what you can do? Now that's no easy task, but you are already unique in how you look, how you think, what you like, and what you've experienced. So if you can find a way to inject that uniqueness into your illustration style, that's a pretty good start. If you have a personality, which I'm hoping you do, then show it in your work. If you care about something, show it in your work. If you know about a certain subject, show it in your work. And if you're interested in something unusual, show it in your work. Your illustration work isn't going to be for everybody, or for every client, just like your personality or opinions aren't going to be right for everyone. And that's fine. If nobody dislikes what you're doing, then more than likely no one will really love it either. The best musicians and artists and writers aren't creating for everybody. Trying to please everyone leads to very bland, average, unmemorable work. There's definitely a balance to work out because there is a commercial aspect to commercial illustration. You've got to appeal to clients who can pay you. So if your creative interests are really weird or maybe deal with adult themes or you're into grotesque horror, there aren't many clients out there that can hire you. So you've got to be able to step back and decide if there's a big enough market for your niche interests. If not, zoom out a little and see how you can apply elements of your style to some more commercial areas. And think about the type of people who are likely to respond well to your interests and style. If it mainly appeals to young, poor, alternative students, there's not likely to be much money in that kind of work. But if it appeals to more mainstream, wealthy professionals, obviously there are going to be more opportunities for paid work. There's a big spectrum to explore and test there. If you start with a really focused and narrow niche and you're not getting any work, widen the scope until you find a sweet spot. It'll take some experimenting, but the best illustrators around today have something to say. They share their interests, and that in turn attracts clients with shared values and goals. If you don't share anything unique, there's nothing for the right kind of clients to latch onto, and no reason for you to be anyone's favourite illustrator. You can still get work if you're a middle-of-the-road sort of artist, but you'll find that you're working on a lot of projects that you don't really care about, and with a lot of clients who don't really care about you. Find the smallest possible niche that suits what you care about and where you can still actually make money from your art. This channel has a niche, and my book, The Illustrator's Guide, has a niche. It's not for every illustrator. It's for new illustrators who are trying to establish themselves. That was a conscious decision on my part. It's not for everyone, and not everyone's going to like it, but it is right for a small group of people, and those are the ones who count. So, If this channel is right for you, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, because there's plenty more to come. See you next time.